Hey guys, so we're still in section 4.7. This is page 409. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do more exercises like the one that we just left off on. So I'm going to walk you through the steps on this now. So I have a new parabola here that I want to graph. So the first thing I want you to do is determine, actually let's just start with, is it going to open up or down? So maybe we'll start there. So take a moment, if you have to go back and just review that. So you can look at some of the notes in the last section. I have a little guide here, or you can go to page 282. So this is what we were all doing on the last page. So if you just need a second to kind of wrap your head around that, maybe pause the video. So I want you to determine, does it open up or down? And then I want you to determine what is the vertex. So do those two things first, hit play when you're ready to see the solution. Okay, so to begin, so what's in the A position? What's in the A position is -3, and what's in the B position is -6. So from this, since this is -3, that means that this parabola is going to have a maximum. So what that tells me is actually this parabola is going to open down this time. So when it has a negative here, it opens down. So that just tells us a little bit about how it should look. So now I need to determine the vertex. Okay, so to figure out the vertex, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take -b over 2a. So I'm going to plug all this good stuff in. So let's see, I get 2 times -3. So this is -6 over 6. So this equals -1. Okay, that's the first part of my vertex. And now I need to plug that into the function. So just be careful with your order of operations here. So I'll work out all the detail. Okay, so order of operations, -1 squared. This will become just +1. So this is -3 times +1. -6 times -1 will become +6, and then this will be +1. So let's see, I've really got -3 plus 7, so this will equal 4. So my vertex then, my vertex is going to be the point -1, 4. So what I want to do first is I want to just plot this point because this will help to center me for the rest of this exercise. So let's plot -1, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so remember what we know about this. You know that this is going to open down, right? So now what you have to do is figure out just a couple more points around this. So using this point, let's make a table. And what I want you to do is just take a second. I want you to choose 2 x values on the left and on the right of this. Now notice, oh, sorry, let me make this table look a little nicer, maybe like this. There we go. Okay, so looking at the vertex, you have to figure out still the y part of the coordinate. But just what are 2 x values just to the left of this point? Well, 2 of them would be this one here, this is -2, and this is -3. So those are the 2 x values I want to plug into my table and figure those out. Okay, so those are 2 to the left, and then 2 to the right. So again, starting here, so if I choose this one, this would be x equals 0, so I'm going to write that down. And then, so 0 and then 1. So that's basically what you want to do. You want to choose just 2 values to the left and to the right. And this will change every single time because first you have to just see where is the vertex and then you fill it in from there. So hopefully that's a little more clear. So what I want you to do now is figure out the rest of this table, plot the points, and then draw the parabola. Hit play when you're ready. Okay, so as I'm figuring this out, let's see, I'll do f of -2 here. I'm going to just try to do all my work. Maybe I'll do it all in this blue color. So this is just a little bit of scratch work here to help me figure out what I'm doing. So here's what I need to calculate. All of this to get my f of -2. So this will be 3 times 4 plus 12 plus 1. So if I plug all that in, this actually just comes out to so that will equal -8. Oops, write this in black. And then if you plug in 0, so you'll just get 1. And then if you plug in 1, so I'll erase this one more time and I'll just show you all the work. So if I've got f of 1, so this is -3 times 1 squared minus 6 times 1 plus 1. So this will ultimately equal, once again, -8, because you'll get -9 plus 1, so that equals -8. So So there are all my points. So now I just need to graph them. So let's see, I've got -2, 1, and then I've got -3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll just extend it down here. We'll pretend that's 8. And then on the other side, so I've got 0, 1, so right here. And then I'll just come back down here. So there's my other point. Okay, and so now I can really clearly draw that parabola like that. So there's kind of everything that goes into this. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense this time. Okay, so now I want you to do the same thing. I'll walk you through the pieces once again. So just by looking at this, so let's do the same thing. Figure out the vertex and figure out whether or not the vertex represents a maximum or minimum. So just determine whether or not this opens up or down. Start with that, hit play when you're ready to see the solution. So here I've got my A is -3 and my B is -12. So first of all, since this is a negative A, that means that this is going to open down. So that means that my vertex in this case is going to represent a maximum. So this just helps me to kind of level set my expectations about what it's supposed to look like. So now if I take this -B over 2A, if I plug all of this in, this becomes -12 over 2 times -3. So let's see, this becomes -12 over 6. And so this will equal -2. So just be careful with all those negatives in there. And so now I have to figure out what is f of -2. So this will be -3 times -2 squared minus 12 times -2 minus 14. So if I work this all out, this is -3 times 4 plus 24 minus 14. And all of that will actually just work out to be -2. So my vertex in this case, so I'll write it out, my vertex is -2, -2. So once again, you want to start off by just marking that. So there's -2, -2. Now you're going to do that same thing. Choose 2 points to the left and 2 points to the right to figure out. So let's see, maybe I'll just move this over just a little bit. I will set up a table of x and y's. And so choosing 2 points to the left of the vertex, so this is -2, using x equals -3 and x equals -4. Those would make sense. And then 2 points to the right of this, so this is -1 and this is 0. So here's -1, here's 0. Okay, so figure those points out and then finish drawing this. Hit play when you're ready to see the solution. Okay, so in this case, I'm just going to kind of omit the work just for the sake of time. But I'll tell you, so this first one will come out to -5, so -3, -5. Then at -4, we have -4. And then this will be -14. If I plug in -1 into this equation, I get -5 once again. And then at 0, this will obviously equal -14. Okay, so you're probably noticing like there's kind of a symmetry. So that is correct. You should be seeing actually a symmetry with the points on each side. That's kind of what makes a parabola work, right? It has to be symmetric on each side. So by doing all these calculations, it's going to help you catch whether or not you make an error. You'll know right away because you won't have like this symmetry in the points. So now let me graph these. So let's see, I've got -1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then -4, 14, I'm just going to draw it like somewhere down here and just kind of approximate it. And then on the other side, I'll have this point, and then I'll also have this point. So there's my parabola going upside down. So that kind of caps off that exercise. So I'll see you guys in the next video. I think this one's already gotten long enough.